Together we are but first coffee. Susie's just our host, but what matters most is we are a team. Together we are all safe here, and so are you. Among friends and mods we are safe. We talk about trauma, break down drama of life, death, happy or sad, even mad. We discuss it all here. Together we will thrive, not just survive. We will dry each other's tears, celebrate big or small wins, and chase away the fears. Together we fight cults or fight addictions. If not with experience, with love, and we don't judge. Please understand this is a safe place to land. Please understand you're not alone. This is a safe place to land. Together we thrive, not just survive. We will dry each other's tears, celebrate big or small wins, and chase away the fears. Because we are but first coffee, and Susie welcomes us all here. Together we are but first coffee, and Susie.
Hey, everybody. Seems like I was just in this chair just a little while ago. Yeah, we about an hour ago we finished up the last live, but once Christmas is over, I think I'm going to go back to just one a day. But yeah, some of my mods are worrying about it tiring me out. But so far, I'm just having fun, y'all. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Absolutely. Tonight we are going to talk to Indigo Twin about their abilities as far as talking to the dead, to spirit, y'all. We're going to see what they have to say about that. I am always just, I said this earlier too, but I still do see myself as a Christian. I was brought up Christian and everything, but I'm kind of a woo-hooey kind of person too. I just see the world full of infinite possibilities. And even on things that I might not agree with, which this is not one of those things, but even if it were, I still really strive to have the ability to listen and learn. And it can just be one of those things that I don't agree with, if that's the case. Again, not the case here because I kind of do believe in it a lot. I just see it as just I don't think that we have limits. I just don't. I think that anything is possible. I don't think that everybody is what they say, but I do believe that there are people out there with extraordinary gifts. Absolutely extraordinary gifts. So I'm going to check in with the chat real quick and then we are going to bring Indigo on here. I told her, I said, we're going to try to stick to about an hour, right at, because Mark's got some stuff he's wanting me to take care of tonight before I go in there and pass out and go to bed. But, or go to bed and pass out. Probably better to go to bed before I pass out, right? You know what I mean, y'all. But anyway, but we are going to have them back on another time or 2 or 10. We don't know, whatever it takes. We have got too much to cover in a night, but we're going to kind of start from the beginning, okay? And we want questions. Please do not hesitate to ask questions. And even if you're on the replay, come back in those comments afterwards because I guarantee you that Indigo will look at those comments and answer, or I'll answer, or somebody will try to answer or tell you where you can go to find out those answers to those questions. So please, we want to hear your questions. We want to talk. This show, if I can do anything with this channel, I would like it to be that I like maybe say some little something and the whole time I'm just interacting with the chat because that's when I'm the happiest. That seems to be when the chat is the happiest, and so let's just work for that. That's my goal for this next year. Not I don't do, resolutions, but I have goals. And so that's one of my major goals is to really do more interaction with the chat. So I'm going to check in, see who all's here right now, and I'll try to catch you if you come in during the live, but if not, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are thrilled to have you here. So, Eat My Shorts is here, but he will be listening, but not in the chat. That is absolutely fine. Indigo Twin, it's here. Yes, and please give Susie a like and subscribe, and go ahead and share too if you want. I don't care. All of that helps get this channel out to more viewers. So that's the goal. That is the goal, to get it out to more viewers. Jersey Jan is here. Ben is here. Watch out, Ben is here. So there is no telling where this is going to go. Incarnasol, it is so good to see you. Absolutely. Great to see you. Jersey Jan. Here we go. Marilee B is here. Let me see. Who else is here? I thought I saw somebody else pop up, but maybe not. Mm. Interested in this? You can be Christian and be or believe in mediums. I think so too. George Anderson, Suzanne Northrup, she has a YouTube channel, and John Edward McGee are all Catholics and very well known mediums. I agree. I agree. I know some of my Christian friends are like, I think I scare them because they're afraid that anything that is not just absolutely, you know, just what they would call normal. I don't know what the word would be, what I'm looking for, but just like I don't know. They just think that it's bad, and I'm like, why? Why? I mean, I don't. I don't think so. Yep. And I try Indigo, if I mess up, and I will undoubtedly mess up on the pronouns, it is not a sign of any kind of, disrespect. I'm fine with people having whatever pronouns they want. I just get to flapping my jaw so fast and I mess up. That's my main thing. I think in that, like when I think of people, I think of them as the pronouns that I know that they, you know, like and but then sometimes my mouth just gets ahead of me. Oh. Oh, don't take us for granted. Yes. I actually did get it, but it was playing in my head and I had moved on from it. And I was like, okay, I need to go back and let her know that I got that. But, it was one of those things that I got it, but it was like delayed reaction to it. Uh, Absolutely. I've seen this stuff too, some cool stuff on brain scans on telepathy and mediumistic ability. Oh, I know. I am just absolutely, I mean, this is like gonna be the group of shows that I'm completely crazy about because I love all of this stuff. Okay, I'm actually gonna mark this one and save it. Whoops, I marked the wrong one, but okay. I'll mark that one too, I guess. Let's see here. Oh, okay, I did mark the right one. Never mind. But yeah, please, if you have questions, you might mark it as such or like, jump up and down and stand on your head and stuff and get my attention. I'm gonna be trying to listen to what Indigo has to say plus checking the chat. But if I miss it, please just like somebody get my attention. Anyway, Jan, if she wants to come in the back, she can and mark some if you want to. Raider 17 YouTube. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Always like seeing new faces. Oh, B says, I personally know two psychic mediums. Both are limited to daily readings as it is very draining. I imagine so. I am actually going to, yeah, I want that one marked so that she can absolutely, I think Indigo may be marking some too. Hey, Cindy, good to see you. I mailed you a Christmas card. It might be late because, the mail is terrible. Okay, hold on. I'm going to mark that one for her too. Yeah, I might. I wish John was here to mark, but if Jan's here and wants to come in, she absolutely can. Oops. Yeah, let Indigo get on here and we'll get on there with her. So what we're gonna do today is let me bring her on or them on. See, I'm already screwing it up and I don't mean to.
Hello. Hello.
I'm telling you, if I messed it up, it is not out of any kind of disrespect.
Oh, I know. No, it's funny. Like one of my friends actually gets more mad about it than me, and she's funny because she's like, but it's what you want to be called, so you should just. So
Yeah.
I just do it more as like jokingly because you can tell when it's like accidental.
Yeah.
And then you can definitely tell when it's intentional, right?
Yeah, when they're
Like for
being-
example, it would be like when my friend first changed his name and our friends kept using his dead name, and eventually I was like, guys, it's 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's this now, like in the first few weeks.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's a whole ass name of a person we've known since we were kids.
Oh,
The
wow.
thing is that when people try and then beat themselves up for messing up, don't do that because it's the trying that like is the thing, right? Like especially it does especially depend on like also how you know people to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't take it personally because I can tell the difference, but also it's not something I'm great at socially enforcing. So sometimes when I say it in the chat, it's me reminding myself that like, hey, maybe I should be actually like doing this in my daily life, but I feel like that
Absolutely.
people are like already kind of sharing like their personal experiences and you know
Mhm.
that they have know other people who have
Mhm.
gifts because I will preface this by saying there are charlatans.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's
I mean,
true with anything.
so there's kind of a schism in the pagan community or the non-Christian. Okay, it's a whole thing. So I say pagan for two reasons. One, I don't follow a specific path.
Mhm.
So I'm not a druid. That comes with like specific regional and traditional rituals. I'm not Wiccan. Again, that's a specific path. I
Yeah.
do not specifically follow the old way in Scandinavia/Finland, which is or has turned into the Marvel MCU, but it's like, Thor, Odin, that stuff.
Yeah.
There's actually a very rich connective tribal tissue and culture that runs through like Finland and Scandinavia that originates from like the polytheism of that. So that's why I say that I'm pagan because how I was brought up and my own spiritual experiences are not from one path
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
never were. And my parents never, so my parents grew up Methodist. My dad grew up Methodist. And I believe my mom did a little bit as well. Like, my mom and dad grew up in Wyoming.
Mhm.
So, if you know anything about Wyoming,
Yeah.
they have like a very rich, like, it's not Bible Belt, but it's also very like strict with what people do believe.
Mhm.
However,
Yeah.
my uncle, my mom's brother, was a Buddhist. My dad's, who raised me, sister was a Baha'i. So I don't even come from,
Yeah, I get that.
well, A, I was adopted, but B, even my adoptive family does not come from one specific religious
Yeah, I
path.
think that's kind of cool, though. I mean,
Yeah.
really, I
It
really
taught
do.
me from an early age what I firmly believe is, and if you read the Bible,
Mhm.
my understanding before the Tower of Babel, we all understood each other and we all got along. Whether or not that was because there was some inexplicable, unknown, like spiritual translation going on,
Mhm.
but the idea that the division of our language was done as a punishment for hubris, kind of like that's how I interpret it, right? Like people were cool just being people
Yeah.
together and trying to have synergy and all that, and then somebody was like, we got to believe a certain way. I'm not going to respect the rule, like the thing I've been asked to respect, and then the punishment for that was like, okay, well, now good luck understanding each other. And I think from the basic unity of the universe, right?
Mhm.
Nobody knows where the universe came from, how old it is, what's even out there, how it works, why we're here, why there's a black hole at the center of the Milky Way, why do we revolve, why actually do we revolve around the sun?
Yeah.
Like, we've come up with theories that have been around for a
Mhm.
long enough decades that we've accepted them as fact, but they are not. They are reproven theories. I believe in science to a point,
Mhm.
but I also strongly believe that science cannot fully explain our spiritual self.
Mhm.
And
I think that
y-
too. I think that that they work together. Like, I don't see them as exclusive. I see it as something that works together. Like, one is not the whole enchilada kind of thing. I think
yeah,
both go together, you know?
yeah, exactly.
You can
And
tell
I
I'm hungry
think
because everything's gonna refer to enchiladas. Everything will tonight.
I think you like might have a craving there.
I
Mark
do.
should make you enchiladas. No,
Yeah. I'm gonna make some.
but I was gonna say too, like, um, for me, it's not about, so like kind of I was raised Lutheran, and
Mhm.
in the Lutheran church, they kind of start like discussions and um confirmation kind of like in middle school.
Mhm.
And at that time that I was involved with that church, there was a lot of other kids around. There was like a lot of community. And so I got confirmed there before I went to high school. Now, due to like the pastor leaving and his congregation following him, because, he was given placement at our church. And then over time, they were like, hey, like if you want a larger church, like
Mhm.
you got to go over here. And a lot of the people who came to that church following him followed him when he left.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, well, I do really value my elders, but I'm also like 14.
Yeah.
And like I want to be around other 14-year-olds that are kind of like involved. And I want to be in a church where they're like involved in the community. And so from like high school until graduation of high school, I was in the Presbyterian church and I was confirmed Presbyterian. So I am once baptized and twice confirmed.
Yeah.
But
I remember
I
you
think,
saying that before, and I was just like,
yeah. And I think because of that, because when you actually, I'm going to go on a little side tangent, which is why I believe in like the unity of spirit. Um,
sorry.
I believe that we all call spirit a different thing. You
Yeah.
call it God, other people call it 12 gods, but really what we're saying is, and what we're seeking is we know there's larger than ourselves out
Yeah.
there. And we know that we feel comfortable in groups of people.
Yeah.
But it's daunting to be like, I'm a singular person and the universe is huge.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
But I think it's empowering for me. And this is just how I feel for my own journey. I do believe that we're incarnated into our human bodies
Hmm.
to learn a lesson. Like, we're all reincarnated.
Yeah.
And we're all connected to our higher self. But from the time we hit about like 6,
Hmm.
we're told like, stop having imaginary friends. You have to start growing up. And I'm like, but the thing is, when you're a kid, you are so much closer to pure spirit than you will ever be. And the older you get, the more you have to fight for that connection to stay pure, because the more people or society pressures or expectations are going to push you away from that, and you will feel it internally.
Oh, yeah.
Now, for me, I knew from an early age that we had a lot of family in Finland.
Hmm.
Like, it was well known that someone in my grandfather's lineage hopped a boat to America. We actually found out that they came through San Francisco because his name was spelled wrong on his intake paperwork. And so technically, my grandfather was never a citizen because the name that they put on his intake paperwork was spelt wrong.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So he
Yeah.
was putting it spelled right in all of his continuing paperwork. But as far as they knew in San Francisco intake, who the heck was that guy?
Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
You know? And so just knowing that journey of like what they took to get here and kind of settle and create the life that led to me, basically.
Hmm.
I always had this feeling of like, there is more to my spirit than I am aware.
Yeah. This is a really good question. And this is from B, and it kind of starts where we're kind of wanting to start off, jump off at today. And that's, how old were you, and what leads you to believe?
Oh man.
Yeah. How old are
Okay.
you? How old were you when you knew you had these, and what leads you to believe that you're a, a medium? And also, do you see auras, channeling,
Yeah.
breaking? So
I'm 35.
bees like me, we're some nosy girls.
Okay. Yeah, there's levels here. So right now in Earth years, I'm 35.
Yeah.
I'm saying it that way because every authentic palm reader or spiritual person I've bumped into always tells me you're an old soul.
Yeah.
Literally, like, I bump into someone and they're like, holy shit, you're old. Oh, sorry. Like, so like I'm earthwise, I'm 35. And like I said, I sort of had like, I guess from when I was born to when I turned 13 in the Lutheran church. And so they follow, Luther's Bible. That's why it's Lutheran.
Mm-hmm.
Then from like 13 to 18, I was in the Presbyterian church, and they follow the new King James Bible. So there's like the King James Bible, then there's the revised King James Bible, and then there's the politically correct revised King James Bible.
Yes. I know.
So kind of growing up with that trajectory, I thought for about 18 years, Jesus and only Jesus, right? In 8th grade, and also because there's that mixed messages from, sorry, a tangent. In history, people have taken the words that were written down to use them to control people.
Mhm.
And so
I agree.
I only throw that out there because there's some people who believe that the Bible is strictly like against people claiming to have visions that aren't Jesus or who aren't like apostles.
Mhm.
They're not like very well received. And so my first experience was in 8th grade. I was asleep. Also, the witching hour / when the veil is thinnest is 3 a.m. This is relevant. So I'm like 13, I'm asleep, and my spirit is in a hallway. Right? My body is just a vessel for my spirit. And sometimes my spirit's like, well, that body's asleep, so I'm going to go over here. So I'm in the very clearly remember I'm in this long hallway. It's like dimly lit. It's like a hallway leading to a tax office. And I'm like, oh, my uncle does taxes. And pretty much I like spirit projected while he was dying
Yeah.
of a heart attack. Well, at some point in the realization that he's dying, I like wake up in the real world, like in the physical
Yeah.
world, and I'm screaming and I'm like freaked out.
Yeah.
And my parents run in and I'm like, Uncle Keith is dead. And they're like, that is out of the blue. Like that.
Yeah.
Their reaction was very much like, that seems like a jump to make. Like, I'm sure it was a nightmare.
Mhm.
I'm sure everything's okay. And I was like, no. Like,
Yeah.
someone needs to call and have someone check on him. Like, he's
Mm.
like in the door, like lying. And I was like, he's lying half in and half out of his office door. And my mom is like, oh, okay, fine. I'll call your aunt.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my dad is like, do you want some more milk? Like, do you want to try to go back to sleep? Like, he's just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I'm also like, what is happening?
I imagine.
So they calm me down. They're like, well, nobody answered. It's like 3:30 in the morning. I'm sure they'll get our voicemail and they'll call us back. But like, try to get some sleep. You have school tomorrow.
Mhm.
So like, we all literally get back in bed, and like an hour and a half later, we get the call that he died.
That's
And I was like, okay. And the more bizarre thing was about 2 days after that, I had a very vivid dream of his visitation, down to like when we walked in the funeral home. I was like, no, I'm going outside. Like, they're like, oh, I don't know where everyone is. I'm like, oh, they're in the basement and they're sitting in this exact formation.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, how did you know that? And I was like, I told you, these dreams are real things that happen in life.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a choice whether or not I had a gift. I didn't get to like research it or even try to prepare that it existed.
Yeah.
And I was close to my uncle. Like, actually, he had like a special nickname for me from my legal name, and like no one had said it to me. After he died, nobody called me that again until my aunt died, and we were at her visitation, and my dad was like, do you remember your uncle used to call you this? And I was like, yeah, I did. And no one ever did after he died. Like, that was a special like thing we had together. And I think that I'm starting to think that we were like in a past life together at some point, and that our bond was like more than just this life. But I remember that like that was the very first time I was like, I don't want this.
Mhm.
I remember like praying like a week later, being like, dear God, please take this away.
Mhm. I can understand that too.
Like I don't want this. Like I don't want to be connected to people when they're dying. I don't
Yeah.
like what am I supposed to do? Just pass the message? Like this
Yeah.
I've had premonitions of real life events.
Mhm.
To kind of go into her what do you see is very, there's a lot of layers. So the
Yeah.
first one is I get a lot of messages in dreams.
Mhm.
Spirits come to me in dreams to pass messages to people, and they're not people I've met yet. I've
Yeah.
had messages passed to me, and then 5 years later I bump into someone and I'm like, is your name Susan by any chance? And they're
Yeah.
like, wow, that's creepy. And I'm like, I'm really sorry about this
Yeah.
because I'm a stranger and now you're going to think I'm weird and you're going to run away, which I totally understand. But I was told by such and such
Mhm.
in a dream message. And I'm being vague on purpose. I never say messages I've given to people
I
that were
understand that.
only meant for those people. But, and then they'll be
Mhm.
like, I've had people cry and be like, "Oh my gosh, this is what I needed to let
Yeah.
it go and move on." I've had people be like angry with me because they're still grieving, and I'm like, "Listen, trust and believe. If I could shut it off and and not run into you," which the running into these people is not a mistake. It's not coincidence. It's meant to happen because I have the message. My issue is now trying to figure out how do I, because it is a lucid dream, right? It's my
Yeah.
spirit going and doing something. I'm asleep. I am aware. My body is aware I'm asleep.
Mhm.
Kind of folding in Ben's question. I believe your spirit is completely external.
Yeah.
It's a powerful being in the universe
Mhm.
that put a little shard of itself in your body, right?
Mhm.
And when you sleep, when I sleep, mine goes walking, and I've been in dreams of people from our community
Yeah, I
helping them,
remember.
like helping them through
If you show up
um
in my dreams, I'm gonna be like, well,
well,
hi.
here we are. Hi. Like, and well, the thing is like sometimes it's I'll get a text from someone who's a close friend, and they'll
Mhm.
be like, "Oh my gosh, you were in my dream last night helping me um take my
Yeah.
power back or helping me process something." And I'm like, that's why I'm so tired today. Like, to go back to
Yeah.
B's thing of like it being draining. For me, it's
Yeah.
draining because um my spirit leaves my body, does a bunch of stuff while my body's asleep, and then my body wakes up and my consciousness and my spirit have to re-merge so I can go about my day.
Mhm. Here's another.
So I do think that spirit and stuff is totally external,
Mhm.
and it's only through my group, my coven I made with my friends who all practice and have different gifts of their own,
Mhm.
like that I've been able to understand that spirit is external. Consciousness is taught. Like my parents, I was born, they raised me. They raised me to connect to logic and science and earthly things.
Mhm.
And I had to figure out on my own how to integrate my belief in science and my very real experiences as a medium. Because
Yeah.
science cannot explain. I'll share one I had that was a real life event. Cannot explain why I had a dream about a mass shooting that happened on a military base.
Mhm.
I'm not affiliated with the military.
Yeah. I remember you saying this.
I don't even know that guy that did it. And my friends were like, well, if you're really authentic, you would do something. Like what? Like
Yeah. Can you imagine?
call up Big Brother and be like, hey, last night I had a dream that a guy that looks like this is going to be in this exact location and do this exact thing. If it doesn't happen, I'm on a list in a room. If it does happen, I'm in a room on a list. And it's not something that I can explain, especially not to those specific bodies.
You know, I kind of understand that too. Years
Right.
ago, I mean, this wasn't something that I like, you know, wasn't a vision kind of thing, but you're talking about that you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't on that. If you call somebody and try to turn this in, you know, this is going to happen. Because years ago, I was outside. I was actually hanging clothes on a clothesline, and an American Airlines plane went over our property so low that I could read the numbers on it. And I read them, you know, in my mind, and I kept on and on and on and on and on. And I ran in and wrote them down, and I called and got a hold of like people at the airport, and they put me through to all this stuff. They thought I was wackadoodle. But anyway, so I was telling them, I don't know why this plane is literally tree height, you know, but you all better be watching because something is seriously wrong. Now, nothing that I ever knew of happened to that plane, but they acted like that I was completely loony for doing that. So I can see what you mean about like if you had called and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
this is, you know, I understand that how they're going to do." And I am if it was now, if this thing that happened to me had happened now, I would be on a list somewhere.
And to say like the accuracy of messages I receive for people or regarding life events. Now, I don't always see a person. I'll see like a relative shadow shape that's, you know, yay high, carrying what clearly is a weapon.
Yeah.
In a space I can clearly tell is an airport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But not the total
But
specifics.
I will sometimes, like with that one dream, I saw the baggage claim crystal clear because that's where it happened. And I, in my brain, popped up. So all airports have call signs, right? That they show up on your ticket. I think OH something is O'Hare.
Yeah.
So in my dream, and I'm not always in a position in the dream that makes sense. And that's when I know it's a premonition. So in this dream, I was getting a massage in the airport, but like in the baggage claim, so it didn't make any sense.
Makes sense.
And so like I lifted my head to turn over and saw like the shadow shape with the weapon going into baggage claim. And then it flashed the call sign of the airport. And I was like, I know that's a military airport. How? I have friends that were on that base that I wrote to. That's how I know that it was for a military base. But also I could have like I also cross check if I have a dream where a name and a series of numbers appear over and over, I will Google it. Or I will try to like follow some kind of investigatory process until I can't go any further to be like, okay, that seems like a license plate, like that is in a state I'm not even in, or like whatever. And the thing with it is the accuracy of the event is 100%. Like, dude went to this place and did that violent action. And I had the dream literally the night before. Like, I walked into work the morning of the event, saw it on the news, and was like, that happened in my dream last night. And for me, it's like, I keep a lot of those world event ones private because I really can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
Friends wise, I had an intuition about a friend, and I'm like, or myself, I'll use a personal example. So we all know that there was that mass event at the 4th of July parade in Chicago
Mhm.
a year or two ago. I was supposed to go to brunch at the restaurant on that street on the 4th of July.
Mhm.
In a series of foibles, me and my friend decided to cancel. First of all, her car stopped working. And she's like, I have to now figure out how to Uber there. I was like, okay, maybe we can split the Uber. Like, maybe we can, even though it would make one of our rides longer on the way back. I was like, maybe on the way back we can just share one and split
Yeah.
the cost or whatever. And then I couldn't find my phone. Like, I texted her, laid down my phone, showered, couldn't find my phone, found my phone, couldn't find my keys, couldn't find my keys, couldn't leave the house. I was like, let's not go.
Yeah. I've
Like,
had that kind of
I was like,
situation where-
something is telling us
Mhm.
not to go to that specific town.
Mhm. Or even like a situation where something just keeps delaying you and keeps delaying you, and I'll get so frustrated that I'm being delayed, and then later, if I had left when I was supposed to have left, I would have been right in the middle of some terrible something. And I believe that that is a higher power, whatever they want to
Call it.
call
Yeah.
it. I don't know what it is, but
And I
I
think
do
it's the
believe it.
spirit, the spirits of the people you love the most
Mhm.
in whatever form.
Yeah, exactly.
Dogs, people, whatever. Watch over you.
Yeah. I saw this one and I thought,
Just
"Well, of
because
course
you like,
Mary read
oh, I
palms
do
and
want
tea
to say
leaves."
too, with reading of like palms and tea leaves and stuff like that, where there's also, they come from other cultures.
Mhm.
It's interesting to me that so many of the messages end up being authentic. Like, you can tell when somebody is leading you on versus when they're actually giving you a message.
Mhm.
And I think the exhausting part of it is we are engaging our deep soul to another person's soul
Mhm.
to provide these messages.
Yeah.
And that kind
I've
of
even
deep
started
connection is it. Eyes are the doorway to the soul.
Mhm.
That's why when I've seen photos of people who've done awful things,
Yeah.
and I look in their eyes and I
I
see
do that too.
pain and I see regret and I see all these things, I'm like, I don't think that person was born bad.
Yeah.
But
Well,
because I believe in balancing, right?
Mhm.
There are versions of our timeline where we are born to experience being evil, to experience that disconnect. And you can look in somebody's eyes and you can see there's nothing.
Mhm. I've seen
And it is giving me chills just saying that you can do it,
Mhm.
because that means that they are learning a lesson of suffering and disconnect so deep.
Mhm.
It's balancing something so that the next time they get reincarnated, they don't take connection for granted. And I think that's the thing that people want to explain all of this with brainwaves and science. I fully do agree that some of what we term, I think I got to be careful because I'm not a doctor, but I
I
think
know. Yeah.
some of the things we term as like on the spectrum or unstable
Mhm.
is actually the result of severe neglect of our spirit. And I think we're all born with different levels of natural gifts. And I think the more we neglect those or we're cut off from those, the worse we suffer. I've heard cancer patients, well, we're both
Yeah.
warriors, but I've heard a couple people say, like, I forgot my connection to spirit until I fought this disease.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute I reconnected with that strength, did it make chemo less shitty? No.
No,
But
it does do.
maybe some of the pain is lessened because it's your inner power, your spirit, and how you connect with yourself is a place of power. And when you accept that power and you walk into a room of people who don't have your best interests at heart, who don't support you, who don't even let you ask these questions,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, they will leave your life on their own because they cannot handle the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They cannot handle seeing you put out that light. Like, right? Because we also talk about, like, oh, you have such a beautiful inner light. That's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
I lost mine in my 20s when I was with an abusive ex who also tried to control me spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think with that, it's like some of these instabilities are caused in our brains because our spirits can't take that level of disconnect from ourselves.
Yeah.
And they try, and our guides and the universe or God or whatever tries to get the message through, and it breaks us because sometimes we're not ready for that message. And we're not ready. Like, once you accept your true inner power, you can't go back to how you were. I couldn't. Like, once I started in college, just exploring different thought processes, thinking through, like, what did I believe? Asking really tough questions of,
asking yourself really tough questions. That's where I'm at right now, and really changing a lot of my belief system, and not really so much changing, but evolving. Like,
yes,
it's not that my core beliefs are really different. It's that they just evolve a little bit. There's, things that make more sense to me.
And think about it. Like, there's even stories in the Bible, which, shocker, I've read multiple Bibles. At one point, I'd even saved up an insane amount of money for, like, one of those dual translated ones that's like ancient Greek on the left and like actual modern English on the right, because, like, I can't read ancient Greek, but because I was like, how close to unless I hop in a time machine, learn ancient Greek, and blend in to ancient Greece, or, when Jesus was alive, I will never fully know the full authenticity.
Yeah, exactly.
But how close can I get how close can I get to the message? And I started trying to reread the Bible, taking out my personal feelings. I'm like, let's write down a list of things not to consider while I'm reading this, that are coming from my emotional depth, all of the stuff I've been through. Let's take that all out, take out the question of was it real or not, and just read the words.
Yeah.
And over and over, I kept seeing spirit trying to send a message, trying to convey something, it getting twisted, and harm getting caused.
Yeah.
And then spirit finally being like, I need to wash away my mistake with the cleansing, healing power of water. And I promise from this moment on to try to reform my message in the least harmful way possible. In the most, like, keeping into consideration different cultures, different experiences. Like, I have a friend I'm very close with. She's she loves Jesus. And I know why. I know her personal story. She knows everything I've been through, and why I firmly believe that my spiritual path is real and my gifts are real. And we can still have civil conversations of disagreement because we understand unless we literally switch bodies, get reborn, and live each other's story,
Exactly.
there's no possible way that our current selves will convert. And I never seek to convert anyone to how I
Exactly.
view the world, but if I can meet them where they are and I can understand, like a lot of people who see kids with cancer stop believing in God.
Yeah.
Some don't. Some are
Yeah.
like, my child's
Absolutely.
resilience and our ability to come together as a family and community prove to me that this spirit exists
Absolutely.
and that it's love and that we can get through it. And some people go, F that noise.
Yeah.
Why would spirit ever do this to an innocent kid?
Yeah. I have an aunt
Or
that
yourself.
does.
Like, I was angry. I was like, why is this happening to me? I
Yeah.
have
I have an
striven,
aunt.
yeah.
I
So,
have an aunt that her daughter lost a baby. I mean, was pregnant, lost the pregnancy
oh, that's so
pretty
sad.
far into the. I mean, it was a full on baby. It was, it was
Oh,
near the end of the pregnancy, and she has now lost 2 sons, all within 2 years, 3 years, about 3 years, less than
oh,
3,
this,
between 2 and 3 years,
oh
and she
man.
has she's in a full blown, and I understand it, crisis of faith, angry with God, angry with everybody, and I totally get that. And but you're right.
Ooh.
Some people turn towards, some people turn away.
And you
It's
know what it is? It's the depth of the loss.
yeah.
So, bringing science in a little bit to
Mhm.
the story you just told, they have started realizing through long-term studies of women who've lost pregnancies or even had successful births and raised children. Fetal cells from one pregnancy remain in your
Mhm.
body for decades.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
have found through sciency stuff I don't know because I'm not a scientist. Sorry, guys. I'm
Yeah, I get
smart,
it.
but I really don't know how to explain this science wise. But they've literally found that these cells have morphed
Mhm.
and been able to internally heal the mother. But think about that. Think about what you just said about that loss, the depth of that loss. It's not just the loss of a being,
Mhm.
it's the dreams, the hopes,
Yeah.
the questions, like Ben said, like in his sciences should be driven by, like gravity was, why
Mhm.
did this apple fall on my head?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like with Galileo, if we're stationary, why does the sun go up and down?
Yeah.
Right? If the sun revolves around the earth, why do we have night and day? It wouldn't make sense with how we know an ellipses works, right?
Uh-huh.
But if we don't give ourselves the room to ask the questions, now somebody might start a journey and be like, so someone asked me, well, why do you believe in this stuff? And I'm like, well, why don't you?
Exactly.
And they were like, what? And I'm like, inversely so, were you able to question? It goes back to also someone asking me, how did you know you're not straight? I'm like, how do you know that you are?
Yeah.
If we don't leave the door
It
open
is.
for
It is.
ourselves to ask a question,
Mhm.
even if you ask it, even if you sit down and you're like, is Susie straight? Sorry, I'm
Mhm.
just looking at you. So
Yeah,
like
I
it ends
know,
up
it's
being you.
fair.
And you're like, well, here's this and here's this reason. And maybe I did
Mhm.
like have a crazy youth where I experimented and I still just I'm straight. Having the room to question that
Yeah.
means that you're willing to grow and you're willing to consider another side. And I think especially with spiritualism, it's so personal to the individual.
Mhm.
Even Incarnasoul asked different questions than Ben.
Oh yeah.
And
I love
they're both science minded, but they focus
Absolutely.
on different paths. Or for example, like Misha and I are both adopted, but we
Yeah.
approach the questions of our identity in different ways. And I
Mhm.
think when you look at spirit and you look at how empowered you might feel,
Mhm.
or like you were saying, I think if people were looking at, I look at churches from the 90s and I think we were not just an insular church community where everybody knew everyone, and there were deacons and there were a great youth group, but then we went out into our community. We went
Mhm.
to nursing homes and served lunch to older folks. We went to Nashville and we went to the VA and spoke to soldiers, and we handed out food to homeless people, and we set up mission trips to Mexico to build people houses through these organizations to help them so they weren't homeless. Like, we created community.
Mhm.
And we're losing that because people are using spirit and they're using faith to try to control. And that's never been the message.
Yeah.
The message is, even in his angriest, God felt guilty for how he reacted. He basically stomped his foot, threw a tantrum, flooded the world, and then was like,
I'll never do that
that
again.
might have been an overreaction.
Yeah.
And like I'm kind of joking a little bit, but it's
Yeah,
like
but
even those messages show that there's room for God's perspective
yeah.
to grow, which is an insane statement, right? Like,
Mhm.
he could have stayed the same. There
Mhm.
could have been just Old Testament point 2.0,
Yeah.
but it didn't. It moved into more of a, how can we encourage sharing and understanding and tearing down walls that are created between groups of people,
Mhm.
to create a loving world. And that's what I think I get messages for. Some of the messages are telling people, please let me go. Do you know how hard it is to bump
Yeah.
into somebody, become their friend, and then have a night where they're like telling you this sad story, and then you have a message and you're like, I've been carrying this message for 14 years until I met you. They want you to let it go.
Yeah.
They
Wow.
don't want you hurting anymore.
Yeah.
And some people get angry. I've had people like separate from me for a while and then come back and be like, I just needed time to process that because like it was starting to hurt me, and I just still don't feel ready to let go. And it's like
Yeah.
we're never prepared for that.
No.
But at the same time, I feel that catharsis of like, to know the soul of the person they love is okay. The body wasn't, the human consciousness wasn't, but the spirit that was in that body is okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can, in some cases, not all, help a little bit. Time
Yeah.
does not make it better, but it makes it less
Yeah.
difficult. Like, maybe like with John, for example, and we're kind of at the hour, but I was going to say, kind of when you talk about a parent losing a child, right?
Yeah.
Or a a person losing, having a miscarriage or whatever it is. Time doesn't make it better, but hearing and feeling people's understanding of like the depth of this loss might not heal, but the stories you tell of this person are having a positive impact on the people around you.
Mhm.
Like you are doing them a wonderful service of keeping their light and memory alive,
Mhm. Absolutely.
you know? And hearing John talk about hope
Yeah.
is one of the most beautiful examples of soul
Absolutely.
light I've ever seen.
Mhm. I
Because
agree.
even after all this time, he focuses on we were out in public and her eyes lit. The way he talks
Yeah.
about her, it's
Yeah.
not it's not
Mm.
superficial.
Mm-mm.
It's not about
No.
a present he gave or
Yeah.
a whatever. It's we would go out and her eyes would light up and she would love to see the lights.
Mhm.
And she had such joy that it was almost like that it the first time we saw the lights without her was the worst because
Yeah.
how like no one
How can
talks
we
about like how to feel joy, right? I think the
Yeah.
part of the holidays and the magic is the joy. And
Yeah,
for
me too.
those of us who might have reminders of grief, like for some reason my birth mom passed in 2016. And
Mhm.
cleaning out my apartment, I found letters we wrote since I was like 16. And this entire month, I've just been crying. Like, I've
Mhm.
just been like in that depth of of the reminder that she's not physically here. But then I had a moment where I was looking at how I like moved my recliner to set up my living room.
Mhm.
And I had to laugh because it was at the exact angle her chair would have been when she
Mhm.
got coffee. And to like wrap up, but also we reflect not just our own souls, but the souls that have invested in us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I believe the reason that we feel tired when we have a really good conversation is
Mhm.
because a little bit of our soul has transferred to another person. Not enough to like be creepy, but it's just a little bit of that of us gets transposed to you, right?
Mhm.
Like you'll leave this conversation being like, I feel whatever about whatever Indigo said, but it really touched me in a
Yeah.
way. And I think I try to be intentional with my words and especially ooh I hope that heals okay, HMS. Those aren't fun. Sorry, he said in the chat he had a hernia surgery today.
Oh, goodness, that is not fun.
But we
My
do
husband
appre
had that at the same time that he had his kidney removed.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We're all warriors here, but I feel
I
that
know.
um the more that we allow questions,
Mhm.
even
I
question
think so too.
even questions that might come from it's easy to be hard on someone for how they phrase a question. Oh, you sounded ignorant or oh that like
Yeah.
was meant to hurt me. I think most of the time and I've noticed this especially with generational differences.
Mhm.
So the more that I look into the sociology and economy and history that folks such as yourself or even people who are only like a decade older than me. To truly understand people on a deeper level, I think it's important to figure out how old were you and how conscious were you of the shared society traumas that people were experiencing. And I think for
Mhm.
my generation, we've had so many wars and mass shootings and
Oh, no.
that the when we're told we're desensitized, we're like,
Mhm.
we couldn't survive.
Yeah, there's too much to
The
be.
level to which I feel sometimes, I
Mhm.
feel like my heart is a black hole full of love,
Mhm.
and it just sucks things in and in and in, and I can't pour enough of it out, and there's just too
Yeah.
much, and I can't, and I don't, if I shut the valve off like I did in the last 3.5 years, I
Mhm.
did so much inexplicable harm to me, but I couldn't even breathe
Mhm.
with all I was going through until I shut off the valve. And now that it's
Mhm.
open again, I'm like, oh, I don't want to shut this off ever again,
Yeah.
because I would rather feel that intensity of emotion, because I know that means I've truly connected with people.
Mhm.
And I think with our inner selves, that's ours. No one can take that from you. When you connect with who you are, truly when you feel the strongest and the happiest,
Mm.
fair warning, when people are not authentic and
Yeah.
they don't want you connected to yourself that way, they will leave your life. They'll either try to
Yeah.
explode it, they'll just stop
Yeah.
talking to you, they'll fall
I
away.
agree.
But someone told me, they're like, if we're all a secret garden tending our special flowers to ourselves, they
Mhm.
don't want our tree of knowledge to grow because they've choked it with vines.
Yeah.
But the minute that you break through the first vine, the weeds lead themselves out. You don't have to pull them or spray them with poison or do any of that.
Mhm.
They will fall away because they are not meant, they taught you the lesson you needed to learn and you've learned
Mhm.
it. And it's
Absolutely.
painful. Sometimes that means you cut off a friend. Sometimes, like you said, like when it's stuff out of your control where it's not you putting a boundary for your own power, but
Mhm.
external things causing the break,
Yeah.
but for a valid reason. I cut somebody off who was a full Trump supporter because I told them, I said, you are directly supporting initiatives that are taking rights away from me.
Yeah. I understand that.
Now, if I was in a long-term relationship with a woman, I would probably be more guarded about it. I would probably have to think more about our safety. But I was like, I shouldn't have to. I
Yeah.
shouldn't have to go into a doctor's office and fight for my right for hormone
Mhm.
therapy because they're trying to take it away from trans people. Like, it's going to affect other people. And so for me, it's a question of, if if you can't be happy for your friend who thinks differently from you
Absolutely.
when they're actually changing their life for the better, then that's not a true friend.
Absolutely.
Take
I
out any
agree.
belief system from that. And so far in this community, I've seen people go through extraordinarily difficult things where I just feel like sometimes it's a miracle we're all alive in the chat right now.
I know, really.
And
It is.
I will say, I'll be honest, 2025 started with me really dark, really
Mhm.
bad. And I had to make the decision about a halfway through the year to completely go offline and start really
Mhm.
digging in and getting myself to a point where I could just let certain things slide off my back. And when I did sit down and ask myself, well, what's my 5 most important things?
Mhm.
It's always been my motto, which spells LARCS, like LARCS: love, acceptance, respect, care, support.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I compromise one of those things to myself, or I'm not able to give to somebody I care about one of those things,
Mhm.
sometimes I have to remember I need a rest. We all
Yeah.
need time to rest. And I think that's why it can get it extremely difficult as a medium, because not only do I have gifts where ghosts want to talk to me, and they don't
Yeah.
really care. They don't care that I'm sleeping, by the way.
Yeah. I don't care if you're busy. Yeah.
They don't. They're like, "Hey, I'm gonna throw this rock at you. Listen to me." And you're like, "Dude,
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of the doctor's office. What the heck?" No,
Yeah.
but like also when you bump into someone and you just have that feeling, like I've had a
Mhm.
feeling that I knew someone before, had
Mhm.
never met them in that moment, but I knew unequivocally we were reincarnated from a past life.
Mhm.
And in this life, they were not ready for that message, and I never saw them again.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so yeah, it comes with its good and its bad, and it's
Yeah.
about balance, and I'm starting to learn how to balance it. But it is 8:13. We technically
Yeah, we
started
started.
at
Yeah.
7-Eleven, at
Yeah.
7-Eleven technically, but
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and call it for tonight, but we will be picking up this where we've left off. I think this is going to be a multi-part series that we do. I seem to have several different conversations going, and I'm gonna have to when the new year gets here, I'm gonna be able to really focus on these conversations that we've started this month and I want to really dig
I
into.
know. I'm like
And
just gonna
so
highlight the star chat and put it in a Word doc
okay.
so I can like help dissect it for like
Yeah.
next time. But I think yeah, this was a good basis start because
Yeah,
like
I
I
think
said,
it really
it's like
did.
it's a tough call to know where to start or what we're going to end up talking about
I
because
know. I do kind of like the conversations where we have like a place that we're starting, but even when they kind of go off the rails a little and people ask things and we kind of go all over the place, I like that. I think that's what happens in friends having a conversation is that they do go all over the place. And so when we kind of touch on different things, I love it. So, anyway, but I really do. I appreciate everybody being here. Indigo, I am so
me
grateful for
too.
you being here, and I will be getting in touch with you. I'm kind of going to stick mostly with what I've already got booked until January 1st. And then so after
Perfect.
January 1st, we
I
will be
am
going hot and heavy on this.
yeah, I am completely not available for the last 2 weeks of the year. So
Yeah.
that's perfect. But I
Yeah.
was going to say really quick, keeping an open mind is important,
Absolutely.
but so is it's a balance.
Mhm.
If your spirit suffers, so does your body. Like before I
Absolutely.
started making more time to do my spiritual stuff, even though I was getting medication and I was starting to feel better,
Mhm.
I wasn't really there. And so I think having so many people with different perspectives and generations and experiences being able to share will
Mhm.
only help more people kind of realize like it's okay to ask.
Absolutely.
You can ask me anything, but try respectfully. I know not all
Absolutely.
things come out that way, but I try to kind of take a step back and think, okay, if someone has a very seemingly negative visceral reaction to something that I say, it's probably not at me. So,
Yeah.
how can I meet them in a middle
Yeah. Absolutely. I get that.
and we can try our best to translate?
I've been kind of doing that with even when we have trolls that come on, instead of just being like, they're just get them out of here. I've kind of thought, I've kind of stopped and said like internally, like what's the deal here? What are they really trying to say? Is this something that's truly negative about me, or is this just something that's going on in their life, or they're just weird, you know? And so I get that. I mean, we just have to kind of not react immediately, kind of take a
Here.
minute. Aw, what did she say?
She said, "You and Susie make a great team, but we
Aw,
should get off." No, just
yeah.
kidding. But I feel like,
We are, Mara, I promise. We will be doing lots more. I absolutely
sorry,
this is
Mark.
a
This
subject
was
that
so fun.
yeah. But anyway, thank you guys. Thank you, Indigo. I look forward to our next conversation. I'll get a hold of you in the next little bit and we'll figure out when we're gonna do what. So, but
Sounds
it'll be in
good.
January. I'm just gonna say it'll be in January because I've got a lot. We all do, right? We've all got a lot.
And every show we get more questions, but like love and light to everybody. Happy holidays.
Absolutely. 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 Love you guys. We're gonna go. Bye. See you
Bye.
next time.
Hope you enjoyed the show, so glad you were here. We meet here most days, we're but first coffee and you're welcome here. We talk about hard subjects, but we also laugh a lot. If you have a loss or win, we will cheer for you. We're but first coffee and you are safe here. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to all. You don't want to miss a show, because this is your home to y'all. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to all. You don't want to miss a show, because this is your home to y'all. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set